Hello and welcome to Blinkers Off. Great to be back for another show. And what a show we have lined up. We've got the Stradbroke preview along with the Group 1 JJ Atkins and the Queensland Derby. And there's plenty going on. We've got sports talk and we have interviews with leading Sydney trainers Chris Waller and Gerald. We take a look at a couple of working in Brazen Bow and Time for War. But firstly, joining me on the panel is big time footy coach Ben Perkins, racing editor Brad Davidson and form analyst Lorena Tillman. Firstly, Ben, welcome.
G'day, Jesse. And before I forget, Bradley,
here we go.
I'll need those whips and handcuffs back by Friday. But ladies and gentlemen, I've got to tell you about a book I've been reading. It's called Inner Guidance by Anne Archer Butcher. If you want to uplift your life and see the possibilities that life can bring you, please get this book called Inner Guidance on Amazon. Inner Guidance.
Well, there you go. Thanks for that, Ben. Brad, I don't think it's doing Ben any favours reading that book.
Don't look at that face, eh? Handcuffs and that, please. Give me a break. No, it's good to be here. Stradbroke Day, best day of the carnival. Can't wait to get into it. But before we get into it, I've got a little public apology to make. On behalf of all of us here, we had 4 best bets last week and not one of them got up. Arabian Gold, Lorena, second. Then went Tosh, me, second. Your Good Thing, Bonetta, third. And Benny, you're elitist. It's looking more like a cat each day, that thing. I think it ran 5th.
Lost radio contact with the field.
Lost radio contact. So,
It had a
virus. We're sorry, but we'll do better this week.
And also, we're joined by our form analyst Lorena Tillman. Welcome, Lorena.
Thanks, Jess. Always good to be back in warmer weather. Thank you.
Now we've got plenty of news coming on. What's happening around the racing news around the traps?
Thanks, Jess. Well, in racing news, trainer Tony Gollan is confident his Boom brothers keep their winning momentum in this weekend's Group 1 $1.36 million Stradbroke handicap at Eagle Farm. Spirit of Boom lines up for what will be his last run before going to stud, and is sure to take a power of beating after his Doomden 10,000 triumph. So too will his brother Temple of Boom, who was runner-up in the same major. Gary Patelli has accused jockey Glenn Boss of a lack of loyalty for switching his mounts in this weekend's Stradbroke. Boss had the Stradbroke ride on Rebel Dane but left Mr Patelli furious after he jumped off to ride Strakandi instead. Mr Patelli said it's about the dollars, but he's happy Tommy Berry will return from Hong Kong to ride Rebel Dane instead. Chris Waller will have 3 runners in the Stradbroke handicap: Red Tracer, Val Rosso and Masthead. He also has the favourite in the JJ Atkins, Brazen Bow. Mr Waller's also set to expand his Melbourne operation at Flemington after taking over a new set of boxes with now 25 in total. Mr Waller says it's important for his business to have a strong operation in Melbourne, and they'll be open for business on July 1. Talented young rider Sam Clipperton has taken out the Racing New South Wales Rising Star Series. Clipperton 20 won the final heat of the series at Hawkesbury on Tuesday, aboard Sense of Occasion for trainer Wendy Walter. Lankan Rupee has returned to work back at the Mick Price stables. Price says he has him set for a big spring carnival with his eye set on the Hong Kong International. And in overseas news, Brown Panther has won Henry II Stakes for Tom Dascombe at Sandown. Tom reports the horse has never been better and chances of winning this year's Melbourne Cup look promising. The foals of first-time champion racehorse of the year Frankel are starting to arrive. Reports being very positive, with Highclere Studs saying they are strong, athletic individuals with a lovely temperament. And Craig Newitt will represent Australia in an International Jockeys Challenge this weekend in Kuala Lumpur. Newitt is one of 13 jockeys to take part in the series over Saturday and Sunday at the Salanga Turf Club.
Thanks, Lorena. That's great. Good to hear there. Frankel's got his young foals foal at foot there. But now we're going to look at the JJ Atkins. We're just going to have a look at the prices. Brazen Bow looks to be a firm favourite there on Bet Easy at $2.50. Look at Pressing, look like the cat in Time for War, $9, who is my selection. But firstly, Ben, looking at the race, who do you fancy?
Well, I think $8 about Pressing. My computer says it should be $5. I think that Brazen Bow and Alma Lad will go hard in front, I hope. Time for War. Yeah, Time for War to go hard in front with Alma Lad and set the race up for Pressing with D. Oliver in fantastic form. Brazen Bow, all my breeding experts say won't get the journey. I say it could. Yeah. What do you think?
Well, on his performance, take breeding out of the equation. I think he will get the mile. Yeah. It's going to be a tough mile. Myself, I have a query about his pedigree over the mile, and right. I think Time for War and the Thing of Gaze, Alma Lad, have the pedigree to run the strong distance. So I like Time for War. But firstly, we're just going to take, you mentioned one Pressing, we're going to take a look at the race here. He was further back than expected. Yeah, as you can see there on screen, he's highlighted there. He's fourth last. You can see Time for War, looks like the Cat and Brazen Bow there. They're all highlighted. But just if you want to take a look at pressing, I think Time for War is going to be the one to beat. And here we go. We're going to take a look at the race.
Back was Careless coming to the turn, and then came Power to 10, Mojave, pressing still second last, Sargatona last, Time for War, shot away in the early part of the straight, Brazen Bow being called upon now, he's starting to put in the big strides, but can he catch Time for War? They're down to the 100 metres, Time for War in front, Brazen Bow's flashing lane, I think he might miss out, Time for War in front, Time for War, beat Brazen Bow.
As you can see there, Brad, pressing didn't gain any ground. It was within 3 lengths of Brazen Bow and just couldn't pick it up. So, interesting.
Yeah, he didn't make any ground, but probably the key here is the blinkers do go on. And my spies at Eagle Farm tell me on Tuesday morning he worked very well in them. He also got around the turn a lot better. So second time going that way, I think it's going to help a lot. So he's definitely a chance.
Eagle Farm as well, totally different racetrack.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. What are your selections for the race?
Look, I know breeding, Brazen Bow, I know he's not bred to get it, but just go look at that last run. It was super, missed the start. I'm going to go with him. I can't back him at the price, but I'm going with him. I think Careless at $13 with Bet Easy might be the value. We'll get back, but looking for the 1600 and the run was really good. Third, Pressing, Respecting, and fourth, looks like the Cat, and obviously Alma Lad, the 12 up to the 16, my concern though.
Yeah, Gay Waterhouse obviously would be hard and fit. We're just going to take a look where I was down at the track and I caught up with Gerald Ryan and we looked at Time for War. I'm joined by Gerald, and welcome to the show, Gerald.
Yeah, thanks, Jess.
Now, you got a lovely 2-year-old Time for War. Very good win last start. Did it top and tail. Tough, strong win. How's he come through the run?
He came through really well. You know, I had my reservations about running him in the 1600, but he'd done so well that night when he come home, and the Sunday, well, by the time Monday morning come, I had no hesitation to give him a crack at the 1600 metres, really.
How'd you find his work this morning? Just looking at it, could have been a little bit, he looked a bit maybe slow?
Yeah, perhaps it's him. I know before the horse raced, I said to Scott Derby, I didn't know where he was. You know, I didn't fancy him much when his work hadn't shown that he could go to Rosehill and win on a Saturday first up, because he was flat out breaking. We didn't break 3:39 on the course proper. And then leading into the Pago, you know, it was much the same. He'd missed that race at Ramwick and we trolled him twice. And but you know, his last gallop before he went to Rosehill again, you know, was not Group 2 work, you know. So I thought, well, that's so awesome. We've never worried about his work ever since, you know. He's sat behind mate of Dave Kelly's this morning and picked him up, got on terms, and the other horse beat him in the neck. But I'm not greatly perturbed about him. You know, the horse is bright and well and good in himself, and it's to me, watching him work, his work was good, you know, for him. Yeah.
Each horse works individual. Overall, mate, it's been a really successful winter carnival.
Yeah, it's been good. We won 5 stakes races, and you know, I've only got 2 left up here now if I don't bring old Einstein up. And you know, it's the JJ Atkins with Time for War, and Angel of Mercy will freshen up and go to the Tats Tiara. So you know, if we win 2 more races, 2 Group 1s, and that'd be nice, you know.
Well, maybe, mate, maybe if you gave up the smokes, you could work a bit better than Time for War.
No, so I can still. I'm a better stayer.
All right, thanks for joining us.
Okay, thanks, Jess.
All right, it's time to look at the Stradbroke 1 million to the winner, a great Group 1. We're just going to bring up the prices now, take a look at them, and here you can see Hucklebuck and Shrikandi equal favourites at 4 to 1, Spirit of Boom 6s, Dane, Rebel Dane 7s, Red Tracer 9s, Noidart 12s, Sacred Star 13s. Probably the value of the race, Smoking Joey Masthead 17s. Brad, what do you like?
Well, before we do that, let's start with the little statement you made off air. Are you bold enough to make it on about Shrikandi on air as well?
Shrikandi can't win. It's the best bet on the program. Can't win. Shrikandi can't win. I make the statement. I'll stick by it. Cannot win.
There you go. Well done. Well, look, $12 Bet Easy, Noidart for me. I'm pretty keen each way. Going to get back in a fastly run race. Probably the best weighted horse in the race. Gets a weight relief. Beautiful. Big track. We like that. I'm going with him. I'm keen.
Noidart?
Yep.
You tipped it last start, didn't you?
Yes.
What do you think of the run?
I thought it was,
Yeah?
could have been a bit like, it's Doomben, you see, Doomben, different racecourse, Eagle Farm.
Well, what we're going to do right now, we're going to take a look at the Doomben 10,000, where Noidart ran in it. There's a few others, Temple of Boom.
50 metres. Buffering gets his chance today. He comes up to the turn leading Hot Schnitzel. Temple of Boom Conservatorium. Driefontein needing a run. So too Spirit of Boom. Then Piranha and Rebel Dane is trying to work into the race. They're fully homeward bound. Buffering's the leader. There's a kick there. Temple of Boom emerged on the outside. Spirit of Boom gets out. Rebel Dane down the outside. Buffering. Temple of Boom. Spirit of Boom and Rebel Dane. Here's a big finish. Spirit of Boom. Spirit of Boom. He's got the 10,000.
Yeah, just taking a look at the race there. There was one back in there, Famous Seamus. He was very unlucky. Noidart, I think he had every chance, but like Ben suggested, Eagle Farm, Get Back, Fast Speed will be running on, along with Rebel Dane. What do you think of Rebel Dane's chances?
Oh, from gate 22 or 19, wherever it comes into, I'm taking it on. I like Hucklebuck. I've taken the $7.50 yesterday. It's a 17 starter. One of the greatest lessons I've ever learned in racing is when a horse is having its 17th start, it will run well if it's a good horse. I'm telling you, I told Colin Hayes that 25 years ago at Strathalbyn, and he followed it after that because 17 starters, I'm telling you, one of the greatest lessons you can have.
Was that superimposed?
If that's your form analyst, then punters are in trouble.
Well, how about superimposed? Didn't he have 17?
It could be first up off a 1.5-year break.
I'm telling you, when the form is there for a horse,
now you're
and they have
changing.
it's the races.
17 starts.
Have a look.
Right, give me a spell.
The superimposed might have had 17
Go
starts
through
before
the
he won
race
his-
results last week and see where the main race, see what number of race it had. It was having its 17th start.
Wonderful.
Mate, you're a kid. For second, I've put in Conservatorium. It's going to get a really, really good run from an inside gate also. It's had like at least 4 runs in now to get itself really fit. Loves coming to Brisbane. Number 12, Vel Rosso. It'll be coming right down the middle of the track with a barnstorming finish. And for fourth, Spirit of Boom, even though it's got the huge weight, gee, it's in good form.
It is in good form. Well, there you have it. All right now, during the week, on Tuesday morning, I caught up with Sydney's leading trainer, Chris Waller, talking about his charges in the Stradbroke and on the day. I'm joined by Chris Waller. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Pleased to be here, Jesse.
Now, you got a number of runners on Saturday, more so in the Group 1. Straddy, how are they all coming along?
Pretty good. It's obviously a good prize money race and a big race to win, so we've probably have 3 runners in it. Vel Rosso's one, Masthead's another. He ran a close second on Saturday, but the main chance will be Red Tracer. I think she's had 3 or 4 runs at Eagle Farm for 3 wins at least, and maybe missed out once, and at that 1400 metre distance as well. So she's been set for the race. She's fresh up, trial well back in Sydney, and be our best chance in the Stradbroke.
Yeah, you got a nice horse, Atkins. I love the greys. How's he coming along?
She's coming along well, and she'll run the Dane Ripper. Red Tracer won that race the last 2 years, so hopefully Atkins can take over from Red Tracer. But should be very hard to beat. She's well placed in that race.
And one of my guests on the show, Grant's got one called Brazen Bow. How's he? Can you pot him?
No, I can't. Certainly not about about Grant anyway. But no, the horse is a lovely colt. Yeah, obviously very expensive horse. Well, building a good reputation and building his value quickly. Unlucky last start, missed the start. I'm sure he would have run a lot closer had he jumped with them. And gets his chance again on Saturday in a Group 1 race, the JJ Atkins over the mile. The mile shouldn't be a problem. He's come through his race well and worked well through the week.
All right, cheers, mate. Much appreciated.
Thanks very much.
You know, it was interesting talking there with Chris. Brad, what do you fancy?
Yeah, well, I'm with Noidart, like I said before. Hucklebuck, I think, is the danger. Third, Spirit of Boom, big weight, bit of a concern, but the barrier's good. And Red Tracer for fourth.
All right, right now it's that time of the show where I catch up with Grant Morgan. Hello and welcome to our On Track segment where I'm joined by form analyst Grant Morgan. Welcome, Grant.
Always a pleasure, Jess.
Pleasure to have you on board. Now, last week, our best bet, well, your best bet, Adelaide Luck second, but the horse to follow, Sacred Star, won very impressively.
Yeah, did the right thing by punters, Jess. We tagged Sacred Star a few weeks ago, and Timmy Bell was in sparkling form on Saturday and pushed its way into the Stradbroke on Saturday, and should be hard to beat again.
Now, you got a horse to follow and two best bets for Saturday.
Yeah.
Fire us away.
Correct, Jess. Yeah, we go to the races at Sunshine Coast last Friday. Celestial Dragon from the Stuart Kendrick yard. He's a promising 2-year-old that's had 4 starts for 3 wins now. He won over 1,000 metres last Friday. I expect him to go to Ipswich on Ipswich Cup Day. There's a nice 1,100 metre race for the 2-year-olds. This fellow is really flying. Expect him to get the money on that day, Jess.
Well, hopefully you'll be spot on there. I'll be having a few dollars each way. Now, last week, your horse to follow was a horse called Lime Hills. It's in again?
Yeah,
it's in?
Yeah, Lime Hills resumes from a spell, Jess, from the Paul Massari yard. He was a good trial winner a few weeks ago, and he goes into the Hampton Stakes at Eagle Farm on Saturday. He's a Redute's Choice colt. He's very expensive. I'd say the stable are looking for black type, of course. It's a listed race on Saturday. He's drawn well with Jimmy Byrne in the saddle, and I'd say it'd be hard to beat Lime Hills.
Now your best bet on the program.
Jess, Cape Kidnappers is a very smart sprinter. He's got a great record track and distance from the Kelly Schweedy yard. He was a good winner last start at Doomben. Goes back to Eagle Farm. I think he's had the 2 starts there for 2 wins. Damien Brown in the saddle, drawn well. Won't be any fancy price, but I think should get the money.
And the other one?
Go to the last race, Jess. Precedence from the James and Bart Cummings yard. He was beaten by Zephyr on last start by 3/4 of a length, but he meets that galloper 2 kilos better. He's got a very good profile third up from a spell. Last preparation, he won the Moonee Valley Cup over 2,500 metres and was very impressive on that occasion. And I expect Precedence to be winning the last race on Saturday at Eagle Farm, Jess.
Got to be agreeing with you there, Grant. As usual, pleasure having you on the show, and you'll join us next week?
Certainly will. Thanks, Jess.
Thanks, Grant. All right, it's that time of the show where it's Sports Talk. Well, Lorena, there's been plenty of news happening around the country. What's the latest?
Always, Jess. Well, in the NRL, Canberra players haven't given up on welcoming another big name for 2015, despite New South Wales State of Origin hopeful Josh Mansour joining a growing list of NRL stars to spurn the club's advances. He was the latest player targeted in an aggressive recruitment drive by new Raiders coach Ricky Stewart to bolster the club's playing roster. James Roberts has been named in the number 18 jumper on a 5-man Titans bench for Saturday evening's clash at Seabus Super Stadium with the Panthers, the club who cut Roberts from their roster in March for disciplinary breaches. A decision on his Titans debut could happen as late as an hour before kick-off. The AFL crowd averages are down on previous years. The gap between the top 4 and bottom 4 has widened, with the lack of talent being suffice to support an 18-team competition, with the Footscray versus Dockers crowd attendance the lowest since 2003 and 3rd lowest ever. Australia's newest world boxing champion, 40-year-old Sam Solomon, dedicated his sensational victory over Felix Stern in Germany on Sunday morning to the late Tommy Hafey, who taught him that age is just a state of mind. Jess.
Thanks, Lorena. Righto, it's that time where we talk AFL and NRL. Firstly, AFL, we're going to look at a few prices across the board here. My team, the Mighty Pies, they're going all right, $1.18. Oof, geez, it's risky, Brad. Geelong $1.20 against Carlton, Hawthorn on the West Coast. Port $1.01 against the Saints. Geez, I'd be back in St Kilda at 15s. What do you think, Ben?
No, I don't think so, no. But it does go to show the AFL has really got itself in some trouble because there's too many poor teams out there. There's not enough talent to justify having all these teams. I'd get rid of the Giants and I would get rid of Footscray for a start.
Geez, an original club. Anyway, the first game we're going to look at, do you think they should?
No, please. I mean, GWS are they've got to take their time with them. It's going to take 30 years.
But how long do you want to give them?
Well, it is.
How long?
It's 20 years.
Look,
20
Suns,
years, they'll be fine.
20 years?
Suns are different. Gold Coast.
Why are they different?
Well, they've already had an AFL team. Greater Western Sydney's a different spot. It's going to be hard. They're going to have to stay patient there, but they give it time, it can work.
No, I'm on Benny's side, I reckon.
You put those players, spread those players around the clubs, we'll get a better... I don't want to watch 15 15-goal victories every. I just turn it over. I love AFL,
give it time,
I'm turning the games off because they're not a game; they're a shame.
Righto, let's get into it. Suns in Sydney is the first game we're going to preview. Right, Brad, you do a bit of research and a bit of interviews with the boys down there at the Suns. How do you think they'll go against the Swans?
No, well, we know the Swannies are flying, aren't they? Last week they disposed of Geelong like they were. Melbourne, or what Ben thought Melbourne were a little while ago. So, but no, look, the Suns go well at home, but you think the Swans are going to have too many punches for them. But they'll be competitive. Righto, and the next game we're going to look at is Collingwood versus Melbourne on the Queen's birthday. The Pies here, they've got the fifth youngest squad in the competition. They're doing all right. They're playing messy football. It looks unstructured to me, especially when they go into the forward line. I'm not happy with it.
No, you're not. I see you on Twitter. You're always bagging your team.
I'm not bagging them. I'm just being constructive.
Mate, you're bagging them, mate. I think Collingwood's not good in front of goal. I've never liked Melbourne for my whole life, so I never hope they go well. I just don't like them. I hope Collingwood win by 10 goals.
I hope you're right. Now, it's NRL talk. The game we're going to look at now is the Storm versus the Roosters. All right, here, over the last 6 years, these two teams have had very close encounters, never much between them. I think with Cooper Cronk and Billy Slater most likely injured under an injury cloud, I think they'll struggle against the Roosters, who since Clint Robinson stated after 4 games into the start of the competition, they've just started to get used to the speed of the new game, of the 2014 game. So I've got the Roosters on top. The other game we're looking at here are the Rabbits versus the Warriors. Now, this game's going to be a tough encounter, but I think with the Warriors coming over from New Zealand, they've been travelling, they might be a bit travel weary, 30 degree heat over there in your part of the world, Brad. I think the Rabbits will be too strong for the Warriors, and I've got the Rabbits on top. Now we're going to talk the Queensland Derby, an interesting race. Villanova's in the race. We're just going to take a look at a few prices here with the Bet Easy prices. We've got Villanova on top at $4.20. We saw her work earlier. One for me, him. But I like Pinstripe Lane. I thought he worked very well, and I think at $4.80 would be a good price each way. How do you think the race is going to pan out?
Well, so much depends on whether Villanova can repeat its performance, because as you know, I've been tipping Villanova all the time and backing it heavily, and then last start I jumped off the board, but now I'm jumping straight back on again and hoping it can come down the outside and do it again, because it was a thorough thrashing it gave them. Well, and I did put Pinstripe Lane in as the big danger.
Now, as you mentioned, Villanova, we're just going to take it Villanova's last start win. It was very impressive. Here we are.
Of all, it's a packing field in the Grand Prix at the turn. Archie on the outside, Rock said, there's a run for Amex. Went straight through in the Hey Diddle Diddle, followed by Rosie Joan, and then came Rudy trying to get into the clear, and meanwhile Villanova descended upon all of them on the outside. Soon afterwards Villanova raced up, hit the lead from Amex, then came Rudy, finally getting out and it's all over, but Villanova pinched it. He raced clear and won. Villanova first.
Looking at that race, he was very impressive. Brad, how do you see the race?
Well, Pinstripe Lane, I know you guys are keen, but I think he's a courier at the trip. Didn't run out the VRC Derby, got beaten 21 lengths there last time.
He is older now, though. He's grown.
Please, that's got to be a guide.
No, he's grown.
Look, elusive runner for me. I've really liked his runs in Sydney. They walked last start and he still got home well. I think he's going to get a great run, and I think around the 460, I reckon he'd be the way to go. Sontag, I think's the value. Like the way this bloke just keeps improving. Going to get a great run on the speed in a race where there doesn't seem to be a lot of speed. Villanova for third, not sure what to expect, but if he produces, he's going to go well again. And Telepathic for fourth, drawn wide, but has the class.
Well, there you have it. Righto, that brings us to an end of another show. Ben, your best bet on the program?
Oh, obviously the 17th starter, Hucklebuck.
Brad, your best bet on the program?
Precedence for me, following Grant.
And Lorena, your best bet on the program?
Well, I'm following Ben's lead as well, Hucklebuck, especially if that 17th start theory is right. If Colin Hayes took it on board, I will too.
She's got the inner guidance going. Remember that book, Inner Guidance? Loretta said she's following their inner guidance by Anne Archer Butcher. Get it through Amazon.
Here we go.
Amazon books.
Get over it. Righto, my best bet, Trecandy can't win. Well, there you have it. That's all we got for you tonight. Thanks for joining us, and join us next week. Same place, same time. Bye for now.